Welcome to the Adventure Studio. Today I'm going to show you the key techniques that you need to build this whimsical gingerbread house. The house is made up of 12-inch quick link balloons, and I'm going to inflate them and then size all of my quick links to 9 inches in diameter by using a balloon sizer box. Simply press your balloon against the 9-inch hole and gently let air out of it until it just passes through. Once both of the balloons I've inflated are 9 inches in diameter, I'm going to tie them together into a pair by wrapping the nozzle around twice and tying it in a simple knot. By inflating our balloons and tying them two at a time, we save a lot of time in this inflation step. But some of the strings, including the first string we're going to make for our gingerbread house, have an odd number of balloons. For those, you're going to inflate a single balloon and tie the nozzle of that balloon to one of the tail ends of our pairs to start off our string. So I have 3 balloons to start off, and to this set of 3, I'm going to add another pair and tie the tail end of one balloon to the tail end of another balloon. Now there is air in these tails, and it's helpful to pinch the tail as you tie the knot so you don't get air caught in those tails. I'm going to add one more pair to this, and just know at the end of every string there's going to be one white balloon. This will make up our snowy roof to the gingerbread house. I'm going to make 12 strings in this manner, but they're all different lengths, and to keep them in order for my pattern, I'm going to place a number next to the tail of that first brown balloon in every string. That way, if they accidentally get mixed up, I'll know exactly where they belong in the pattern. Next, I'm going to lay out all 12 strings in order on the floor, and you can pause the video here so you know how many balloons to add to each string, or I have a set of written plans available in the description box below with all the details you need to build the gingerbread house. Next, I'm going to take the first 2 strings that are sitting side by side and twist them around each other twice, right where those nozzles meet. And then I'm going to secure this twist in place with a pair of 5-inch balloons that I've inflated to 4.5 inches in diameter, or 4 pumps with a hand pump. I'm going to slip this pair in so one balloon's on the front and one balloon goes around the back. Bring that back balloon up towards the front and then twist these 2 5-inch balloons around each other, capturing the twist of our strings in between them, and then pop one of those tiny balloons towards the back, so one sits on the front and one sits on the back. This will keep our ribbon nice and flat and give it structural integrity. From that first twist we just made, I'm going to count 2 balloons up on each string, and then the next set of nozzles past those 2 balloons, I'm going to twist around again. At each of these twists, I'm twisting the balloons twice. Once so that the strings switch places, and then the second time I twist them puts the strings back in their original positions. That way we won't mess up our pattern as we twist all the way up the ribbon. Each of these twisting locations should look like an X with a tiny balloon right in the center of it. Now I'm going to repeat this process until I get to the top of the ribbon, where you'll notice that one string is longer than the other. Tie the tail end of the shorter string to the nozzle of the white balloon of the longer string, and by angling this over, that's going to create the top edge of our roof. As we work from left to right across the gingerbread house, you'll notice that the roof will continue to go upwards, with the right balloon always being taller than the left until we hit the center point. After that, it'll always be the left-hand string that'll be taller than the right. Repeat these steps until all the strings are tied together into ribbons, and then we're going to take all of our ribbons and secure them into a singular piece to make up our gingerbread house. Starting at the bottom of the house, tie the 2 tail ends of the first balloons together in a double knot. Then you're going to move up 2 balloons, and anywhere you've got these free nozzles, you're going to join them together using those tiny balloon pairs and secure them just like we did when we were making the ribbons by slipping that pair in, bringing both balloons up, twisting them around, and making sure one sits on the front and one sits on the back. Now we'll do this all the way up anywhere these nozzles are free until we get to the white balloons of the roof. Here you're going to take the tail end of the white balloon that's still free, angle it over so it matches the angle of the rest of the white balloons, and tie it to the nozzle at the base of the next white balloon. To create the doorway for the gingerbread house, you're going to take the tail end of the short ribbon and tie it between the 2 nozzles of brown balloons just to the left of it before tying the white balloons together. The white balloons will help guide you if you don't quite know where to tie the brown tails together. Now we're going to come to the very peak of our gingerbread house and tie our shortest ribbons together, and then you're going to bring the 2 white balloons that are free and tie the tail ends of those together to create the peak of our gingerbread house. Tie the rest of the ribbons together so that the gingerbread house is one solid piece, and then we're going to support the house using two 6.5-foot tall balloon stands. Lay both of these stands down the center of your tallest ribbon, just on either side of the doorway to the gingerbread house. We want the stand to be touching the nozzles of all of these balloons, and the base of our stand should be touching that first set of balloons. Then you're going to take your tiny balloons in the center of each ribbon, pull the back balloon up, and twist those two balloons around the pole before pushing one balloon back under. This will capture the pole between the two and hold the pole to the balloon structure. Now I'm going to do this all the way down everywhere I've got a tiny balloon pair touching the stand, with the very top of the stand touching the white balloons. Repeat on the other side of the doorway, and this will be enough to hold the gingerbread house upright. But if you're anticipating people walking through your balloon design, I highly recommend adding in a horizontal bar across the top of the door frame for some added structure. Now it's time to fill in all the gaps left between the link balloons. I've inflated 11-inch balloons to 8 inches in diameter and tied them into pairs. You're just going to pop these pairs anywhere you see a gap so that one balloon sits in front of the wall and one sits behind. The tension between the pair of balloons will hold the balloon in place and make our gingerbread house more rigid. Next, we need to clean up all the edges to our gingerbread house by adding in a mini balloon pair anywhere we have nozzles or tails of link balloons that don't already have these tiny balloons already on them. Simply slip the little pair behind the nozzles and twist them around each other, or tie the tails directly to them to hold them in place. Do the exact same thing along the roof line, only instead of brown balloons, we're going to use two white balloons to create our pairs, slip them under our white link balloons, twist them around each other, and this will help fill the gaps between those link balloons and give us a handy place to rest our candy decorations. I'll be embellishing the roof line with these 18-inch candy foil balloons. Now I'm going to inflate these with a hand pump until they're nice and firm, and then I'm going to hide away the tag of this balloon as well as make a way to attach it to the roof. I'll be using a 260 balloon that I've cut in half, lay it across the nozzle of the foil balloon, and then roll that nozzle around the 260 until you're right up against the balloon. Then tie the 260 in a double knot, leaving a long tail, and that tail is how we'll attach it to the roof. Nestle the foil candy balloon right on top of one of those tiny pairs we added a minute ago, and then stretch the 260 tail around some of those tiny balloons, going back and forth in a figure-8 pattern, and that will secure the foil balloon to the roof. You can just let the 260 tail go and it'll hide itself away in the balloons, then rotate the foil balloon so it's facing out towards the front of the house so you can see it in its full glory. I attached 6 of these peppermint candies across the roof of my house, which meant I was putting one candy in every other place where there was a mini balloon pair tied. Foil balloons are a really easy way to get a candy look added to your gingerbread house, but you could always change out some of the mini balloon pairs for bright colored ones so they look like gumdrops added to your gingerbread house. Now I've also got these little candy canes that are 32 inches long, and I'll be adding them to the front of my house. Before I stick them in place though, I want to hide away the nozzle, so I'm going to use a glue dash and attach it to the nozzle of that balloon and then stick it down on the back side of my candy cane. This will hide it away and give it a smooth look across the bottom. Now this one also has these little eyelets that you would use if you wanted to hang it, but I don't need them for today's design, so I'm going to take a pair of scissors and just cut them off so that they match the natural edge of the candy cane. And once I've got all these cleared away, I can stick it to the front of my gingerbread house wherever I like, using more of those glue dashes. So I'm going to nestle it at an angle right between some of those 11-inch balloons, and anywhere my candy cane touches a balloon behind it, that's where I'm going to add a glue dash to secure the candy cane in place. If you like today's design, here's another cool project you can make using link balloons. So until the next time, remember, stay creative everybody!